Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Monday Night Live 68. G'day guys, lots of people here. Jokes were being told while people were waiting. I didn't find any of them terribly funny, but it was a good effort. So Hobo's here. We've got to talk about him in a little minute. David's here, Greg's here, Rodney's here. G'day Rodney, Lee, lots and lots of people here, all round. Greg, Adrian, great to see everyone here. Ninja Moves, great YouTube name, guys. So, right, so tonight we're going to talk about the gear I use. We've got a few updates as well. It's Donnie Pascoe's birthday today, so Donnie's probably not on tonight. But when he watches this later, I'd like to say thanks very much for leaving your Pascoe Lads mug here. So I've snavelled it. So I don't know whether you're getting this one back, Donnie. So I like this mug. So when you're watching it lately, and of course tonight's outfit. I feel like I'm on the runway. Young Guns t-shirt. They sent me one of these. And I thought it's Origin week, State of Origin Rugby League. So I thought it's good Origin colours. Normally I wear the black shirt, but tonight I've got the maroon on tonight. So right. So. Yes, Donnie, when you watch this show, I don't know whether you'll be watching it live, but when you watch this show, thanks for the mug, mate. Pleasure. Right, so that's Dale's here and Matty. How are you, Matty? The people are saying you thought it was an NRL jersey. It's very Broncos, Queensland. It's got Gold Diggers on it. It's got NQ Explorers. It's got all sorts of stuff. So it's very busy. So yes. So I'm certainly on the Queensland side of the fence, as many of you know, just by looking at the colour of my gear. So tonight we've got the gear that I use, and what I thought we'd start with is it's just a little 3-minute clip here it's a 3-minute clip I did this afternoon, and it just talks about how my truck is set up and a few bits and pieces like that. So we might kick the show off with that tonight. So, before we do, tonight's prizes. I've got what I think's the best gold pan going around. You can't see it because of the green screen, but it's a Garrett Gold Trap pan. I should have had a picture of, but what it actually is the bottom's offset. We've got a couple of those to give away tonight, and also everyone laughs at me with these, but I find these the best for nugget recovery. They're 2 cups, they fit inside each other, they're cheap as chips, they're under $10 for a pair, and what it means is you can dig the target out, shake it to the bottom of the scoop so that the gold will actually sit in the bottom here, and then you can split, you can halve it with the scoop. So I'm going to give a couple of them away, a couple of pairs of them away with the gold pans. So that's what we're going to do. So the Donnie Pascoe looks like he's here. Happy birthday, mate! Thanks for the mug. I should be giving you a gift, not me. So, but thank you very much, Donnie. Love your work. So, right. So let's kick off with the truck, and we'll go from there. Righto, guys. This is replay Ben, I suppose you'd like to call you. So I just thought I'd come outside and just have a quick talk about the vehicle I use and what vehicle you should be using. To start with, it's got to be reliable. You can't get into some of these remote places without a reliable vehicle. So I use this almost exclusively now. I use the old Cruiser. So just as to give you a bit of an idea, obviously I'm not going to spend an hour talking about this truck, but big winch on the front. No spotties on it at the moment, but those lights are aftermarket lights, so they're pretty good. If we just come along here, and we'll just jump inside. So sitting inside the truck here, most important thing is communication. So I've got a satellite phone going in here in the next little while. And it amazes me the amount of people who don't actually put a UHF radio in their car, particularly when you're out in the bush. I've also got my iPad sitting here that has all my GPS mapping on it, and the assorted mess on the side of on the seat beside me, sort of thing. Good stereo, but really that's about it. Behind that seat actually is an air compressor. There's an air compressor in there. There's a recovery kit, and there's also a fire extinguisher. We've got a fire extinguisher in behind the seat in the cab, which I need to find somewhere to mount. And then I've got a fire extinguisher in the back here as well. So I've got toolbox on the side, which is full of tools. I've got a big canopy on it with roll-out awnings either side. Sorry about the sun there. Roll-out awnings either side. And then I also, for when I'm out in the bush, let me just point this up here. I've got the road shower, so that's my shower. That's a solar shower. That's anodised aluminium. They are phenomenal. They give you a hot shower at the end of the day. And also up there, you'll see is a solar panel. So that's the truck that I actually, while we're here, underneath the truck here is an extra 100 litres of fuel. So it actually takes it's actually got 165 litres of fuel. And I don't know whether you can see, but there's a big vacant space here. We're going to run some water in it. So we'll probably get another 100 litres of water in there just as a bit of a backup. But anyway, that's the truck. Really, most important thing, no matter what you're using out in the bush, is it's got to be reliable. It's got to get you home. A lot of these places don't have phone reception, so if it's not going to get you home, you're in strife. So, righto guys, I'll throw back to live stream Ben. Okay, see you, bye. Right, there we go. So that's a little bit of the truck. What I've actually done, I just noticed that Dale mentioned there with so the truck has got a dual battery system in it, but I've done the dual battery system a little bit differently. There's not a lot of space under the bonnet. So I've actually wired the solar panel to charge a battery in the canopy so that I can take that canopy off and the solar panel still charges the battery. So I can take that canopy off if I'm staying for a period of time. It's one of those jack-off canopies. If I'm staying for a period of time, I take the canopy off, solar panel charges the battery. It's enough to run the fridge and the lights inside the canopy, sort of thing. The canopy is far from finished, so I've got to make a kitchen thing to go in it, and so it's one of those vehicles that some blokes have a midlife crisis and go and buy a bloody Ferrari or a Porsche or something like that. I went and bought that. So it is my all-time favourite vehicle. It's an absolute weapon. It's so much fun to drive. The power steering just kills you, or the lack of power steering just kills you. She's not perfectly smooth, and she's pretty rough around the ridges, but I love that old truck. So, and Dale's dead right. It's a work in progress, and it'll be a work in progress until I give it to my young bloke when he turns 18. So, yeah, they're yeah. No, Country Victoria and Relics Mark there mentions do I swag it? So what I've done is I'm going to run kitchen down one side, kitchen, fridge, few bits and pieces like that. I'm also going to so that leaves sort of 2/3 of the vehicle space empty. Swag down one side, so I can just. That was the biggest problem I had with the Triton. If I was to drive from here to Claremont, and normally I do that overnight, I couldn't sleep in the back of it, not comfortably. So the swag will just be in position down the side of the truck all the time. And I can just leave the canopy door up. It's got fly screens and everything on the canopy, so I can just roll them down. Happy days. So, yeah, so I've just got a swag in the back of it, and then all my detecting gear runs down the centre. So, yeah, so that's the plan with it, and so far it's sensational because I love that old girl. It is beautiful. So, yeah, and it's got people talk about that engine. It's got a 6.2 Chevy diesel in it. Everyone says it uses a ton of fuel. It sort of does, and it sort of doesn't. It's sort of like on the Triton when I was fully loaded, I was getting like 13 litres for 100. This I'm getting 16 litres 100. So it's it's a little bit more thirsty, but the smile on my face when you stick your right foot in it is just sensational. So it's worth 4 litres at 100 to me. So, but yeah, happy days. So it's all good. So that's a beautiful truck. One of the nicest things going around. Right. So, what do you want to start with? Machines or bits and pieces? Probably machines, eh? Everyone wants to know what machines I'm using. So, let's start with probably the machine that probably the machine I probably reach for the most, and it's this one. It's AT Max. AT Max with a Nell. It's got a Nell coil on it, the sharpshooter coil on it. I reckon it's probably. I think it's probably just just edges out the Garrett 5x8 coil. I love this coil on small gold. Very, very good machine. So I'm using that a lot. And if I'm going park detecting or detecting not gold, this is the machine I pick up. So that's what I use like in town and what have you. So, but I use that a lot on gold as well, or I did until this came out. So I find myself using this more and more on gold. It's just the ORX is just a sensational coil. These silicon covers are fantastic on it. This thing can find just microscopic gold, so I love that. This will go smaller than what the AT Max will, but yeah, absolutely. So down at the beach, I use. Someone just asked there at the beach. I use the Max mostly, and I have got an old Infinium that I love. So yeah. But okay, people are talking. What's the story? So this is my go-to machine for gold. Garrett ATX, 8-inch monocoil. I seriously There's downsides of this machine. There's heaps of downsides with this machine, right? But it's a seriously good machine. So, so it is a seriously good machine. 8-inch monocoil. The biggest problem I have with this machine is that with this 8-inch monocoil, it's tap sensitive. So when you tap that coil, it'll give you a false signal. So it's a bit of a pain in the ass unless the ground's fairly flat. The newer 11 by 13 coils don't have that same problem, but they're not as sensitive as this little 8-inch mono. So as you can see, it's the dirtiest, the most knocked around. It's also the most robust, so it probably doesn't need covers or any of that sort of stuff. But yeah, this is sort of my go-to machine. I can use it next to machines, power lines. You can just stick this machine anywhere. So for a pulse induction machine, it is fantastic. So that's my go-to machine. I am adding one more to the arsenal, probably in the next couple of weeks. And really because I've got that lease, I'm probably going to pull the trigger on a GPZ 7000. So yeah, I might do that. So they're really the three machines I use. And let me tell you, like the GPZ 7000, I haven't used it a lot, but I would suspect that this will be the machine, like out on the lease, there's an excavator. I would say that this is the machine that'll live in the excavator, and it'll probably get used just as much. So, yeah. So, and the downside, when you're talking about pushing for a lease or excavator, and I was using this within about 2 feet of a running excavator, right? And it works fine. No noise, no problems, no nothing. I don't know of any other machine you can do that with. So that's why this machine, I will never ever get rid of this machine. It is quality machine. So it's a bit knocked around. I could have given it a clean, but none of my gear's clean anymore. I've given up on trying to keep it perfectly clean. So, yeah. Well, guys, at 10 grand for a Z, a 7000, it wants to be good, and it will be good. But it just doesn't do. It doesn't do what the ATX does. Yeah. So, that's why. That's why I've gone to that. People are asking about the Gold Monster. I'm probably considered pretty biased because at the moment I don't sell the Minelab gear. So people are asking about the Gold Monster 1000. It is a good machine, right? But this machine I think is better. The ORX is better, just slightly. If you've already got a Gold Monster, don't sell it to buy one of these unless you really want to. But what's actually happening early next week is Donnie is putting the ORX up against the Gold Monster up against the Equinox, and so those three machines, and really Donnie's left this fella out because this is by no stretch a bad gold machine. But Donny's putting those three up against it. The AT Max is probably a decent gold machine. It's probably both, and I think the big difference between the Max, the Gold Monster, and the RX is easier to get your head around it. So target noise and ground noise is completely different on the RX, right? Whereas it's not completely different on the Max or the Gold Monster. So it takes it's a longer learning curve on the on those other two machines. Still very good machines. So yeah, people are talking about the Equinox with the 6-inch double D will beat the Gold Monster. I don't think so. I've seen the Equinoxes be pretty hard to drive in this heavily mineralised ground, but we'll see. So someone mentioned there, yes, the Deus. Yes, the Deus you can set up in Goldfield mode, and you can set it up almost identical to the ORX. However, so I'm sorry, I'm reading too many questions here. But yes, but for some reason I feel like the ORX is just a little bit more stable in the heavily mineralised ground. So yeah. So right, so a couple of questions here. People are asking about people were asking there about the frequency of Deus compared to the frequency of RX. So that the frequency is driven by the coils. So you can wind either machine down to 3 or up to 81. So the white coils, like on this one, are high frequency coils, and the black coils that you can buy aftermarket for this are the low frequency coils. Low frequency coils are better for relics. High frequency coils are better for gold. So that's it. So Steve asked another question. Doesn't the Max run at 13 kilohertz? The Max actually runs at, I'm guessing a little bit here, but the Max actually runs at 6. But they've done something with it so it behaves more like a higher frequency machine. So I don't remember exactly the details of how that works, but what I think they talk about is that they talk about that they've doubled the power to the coil and halved the frequency, if that makes any sense at all. So I think that's the theory that they've done with this. They've changed it, the whole way of looking at it a little bit, and doubled the power going to the coil and halved the frequency. So the Max is a little bit unique like that it actually runs like a much, much higher machine. So Scott says, how do I carry shovel, phone, car keys, pinpoint, etc. out in the bush and beach? Pockets, fines bags is pretty much all of it. Yeah, so that's an easy thing. We'll get to fine bags in a minute. Right, so that's machines, okay? So the other thing I want to talk about, and these disappear as well, is snake gators, right? Maddie says you can't do a software upgrade on a AT Max. No. How long does a charge last? Most machines, all these machines here will get at least 20 hours out of a charge. So yeah. So, snake gaiters, very, very important to use, particularly in summer, particularly around mating season, which is sort of October, November. So I use these Snake Protects ones. We don't sell them. They're the ones that are made for snake catchers. So that'll do me. So I've never tested them out. So they're pretty good. I don't wear them all the time, to be honest with you. So that's I don't wear them all the time, and I only wear them really when I feel a bit threatened, or I'm going into somewhere a long way away, or I'm by myself, or so I don't use them all the time, but I do use them. Absolutely do use them. In that mating season in October, those brown snakes can get really aggressive, more territorial than aggressive. So, while we're on the safety message, I've got stuff everywhere here, as you would expect. So, guys, there's a heap of people that have joined us late. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ben from Monday Night Live. We do this every Monday night. This is the 68th one. Tonight's prizes are, we've got a gold trap pan, the invisible pan, and we've got a couple of nugget scoops here. So we're going to randomly select a comment. Now, one comment, there's no point giving me 1,000 comments because only one comment counts. So there is that. So, okay, let's bring a bucket of gear over here. So while we're talking about that, Garrett trap pans. I've got a few of them. Happy days. I use that pan virtually exclusively. I've got nugget scoops here, but I do use I do mostly use those cup ones that I was showing you there before. So how I carry stuff. This is how I carry stuff mostly. This is one of the greatest finds bags I've ever used. It's a Grey Ghost Ultimate. This is a wire in the top, so you can push it flat to close it and it stays closed. And in each of my find bags, I hope I'm not lying here, I have a snakebite bandage. I've got them in everything. So snakebite bandages, I'm sure I'll be caught out here somewhere. But so snakebite bandage in every one. This is good because it's got zipper pockets. I put my scoops in here normally. I can get my scoops in there like that. I've got a pick on the belt. I've got a pick holder. So really, that's all I use, sort of thing. So now I use two pinpointers. I use a MI6 which hooks up to that RX, the XP one. So I use that when I'm using the RX, and then I use the Garrett Carrot. I've always had really, really good success with those Garrett Carrots. Some people don't have good success with them. I reckon they're phenomenal. So I just like them. So I use these too. These edge diggers, Tiger edge diggers are just as good. I sell the Garrett ones, so I use the Garrett ones. That's all it is. Yeah, those finds bags come with a belt, so you just clip them on. Like the Garrett one comes with a belt as well, so you just clip them on. So, but yeah, so finds bag, and like for instance, that's what I use when I'm doing parks. And just to give you a good idea how many parks I do, look at the tip of that. There's a bit of rust on that. That's how much use that gets. But anyway, that's another story. So Garrett carrots are $2.25, I believe. So, okay, so I've got sitting next to me a giant bucket of stuff. Okay, so I should have organised this a little bit more. East Wing rock pick, rock hammer. We only sell East Wing picks, rock hammers here. They're fantastic. I've never broken one. I've got a hammer at home that's ages and ages old. And yeah, happy days. East Wing pick. Gotta love it. While we're talking hammers and stuff, hitting implements, CC picks, fantastic picks. I've never broken one. I've got an old one that I actually can't find at the moment, but it's actually the straight ones. It hasn't got this cutout and this sharper edge. I do like this one here for digging, but you can't lay it on its side and scrape with it as easily. So I love that pick. That's the right size. Don't like some people get these big giant picks. When they get a deep hole, they've got to dig something deep. They get a bigger pick. I think that's pointless. I think that's pointless because when we talk about digging tools and the ground gets hard, this is what I do. It's it's an invisible tool because it's green. This is a Ryobi hammer drill with a battery. Okay, so yeah, I can set this so it just does hammer, and I can just dig a hole or chip quartz or anything like that. So yeah, fantastic. I really love that for this hard ground. You can't go wrong with that. Right, so that sort of digging tools. I've got other digging tools that were an absolute waste of money. Like I thought this thing would be good. It's a slide hammer, right? So you put it in a crevice and that slides down, but absolutely useless. Don't ever buy one of those things. And if you do, let me know. I've got one here you can have really cheap. You're better off with a chisel and a hammer than this. But anyway, that was another useless thing I bought. So I don't think I've got much else digging stuff. No, I've got nothing much else digging stuff. Here's my other carrot. Here's the carrot. So I use this more than most pin, like more than anything, because I'm using ATX, ATMax a lot. Every pinpointer I have has a lanyard on it because I put them down in the bush and I forget to pick them up. So yes, so a lanyard on them. Even the Deus one comes with a lanyard. This is an aftermarket American one that's Kevlar or something or other. So but that's the other pinpointer I use, sort of thing. So right, right. G'day, Paul. Sorry your dad's in hospital. 8-ton excavator is an excellent thing. I do need a large trailer to carry it all. That's why I've got a large truck, so I can fit it all in. So crevice tools we're going to get to, Chris. Do you take a pack horse with you? No, I just take a Land Cruiser that's full of crap. So yes. Yeah, the carrot, Greg asked if the carrot has a way to find it from afar. If you leave it alone for 5 minutes, it starts beeping at you or something or other. So, g'day, Shelley. How are you? Yeah, now, guys, like, So I sell all this gear, right? Or I sell some of this gear. So I quite often will pick something up because it's new and it goes in the ute and it's there for me to test. And like, I'm not suggesting you to go and buy all this stuff. I'm just showing you stuff I use and I've found pretty useful. You can go and buy stuff at Bunnings. Like, I've got little rock hammers out here at $20. These Eastwing ones are like $100. But the like a lot of this stuff, you don't need to go. You can go to Bunnings. You can buy it off eBay, and yeah, there's lots and lots of that sort of stuff you can do. So don't think you just need to go out and spend thousands and thousands of dollars, because I have, or yeah. So, but I use it to test. I test a lot of this stuff. So, right, okay. So, guys, don't forget to leave at least one comment to go in the draw to win the gold pan and the cup scoops. We've got 2 of them tonight. Also, don't forget that to like, and if you haven't already subscribed to this channel, subscribe to the channel. You have no idea how much it helps out. So yes, so we're building this channel a little bit at a time. So yeah. Yes, people are loving the CC picks. CC picks are the way forward. So let's talk about crevicing. Let's talk about wet crevicing and dry crevicing. Let's lump them all together, okay? So I have all sorts of bits and pieces here for crevicing. A little trowel that no one doesn't get used much. Where are they? Suckers. There's little yabby pump style things. A set of gloves. These are quite clever. They're a bit of poly pipe. You can make these. They're a bit of poly pipe, so that when you're scratching out a crevice, right, you can catch the material in the little scoop here. So they're handy. These are a great little crevicing tool. Pretty hard to get now. We used to sell them, but we don't sell them anymore. And all they are is a bit of steel rod bent up. That's a little cup shape on that. So bent up like that. That's a good one. But I have got so much gear here. More little scraping tools like this. There's a tent peg. But even like these are little pry tools. They're good. Even these things, I actually find this pretty handy. This is actually a metalworking scribe for marking metal, but it's got a little hook on the end and a sharp point. It's actually really good for getting into those really, really tight crevices. What else have I got here? There's a hook thing. And a lot of these things can be made out of screwdrivers. You don't have to buy them. Although Crazy Crevicer is coming out this year. And he's making a lot of this stuff. So, but these crevicing scoops are fantastic. So, yeah, I actually use that a lot. So, okay, so here's a homemade fitting to go on a yabby pump. It clamps onto a yabby pump. There's actually another bit to it that's currently attached to my yabby pump. And what happens is you suck it up and the material gets stuck in here. So it's actually quite, yeah. So, yeah. So it's handy. That's probably enough for that bucket. That bucket's got chisels in it, rock chisels that, again, don't get much use, so they're probably a waste. But they're handy when you need them. So, right, so that's all that gear crevicing wise, and a lot of that gear can be homemade because a lot of it can't be bought just out of the shop. You can't go to the shop and buy it, so you got to actually make a lot of this stuff. So right, yeah, forks, spoons, knives, they all make good crevicing tools. Yeah, there's lots and lots of Big Ted Angelic Night. There's no Jellic Night in the show tonight, Ted, unfortunately. I do like a bit of Jellic Night. It's a little bit fun. So, yeah. Pasco wants the vac pump truck. Yeah, we all do that. Yeah, Autobarn and some of those mechanical places do like O-ring picks and stuff like that are really good for crevicing as well. So, yeah, but yeah, nothing like heating a screwdriver up and bending it over. That's a great crevicing tool as well. So, okay, where are we up to? So, let's talk about wet stuff. Okay, so what I do. So I do two things. I've got two things. I actually have a 12-inch high banker that I'm setting up actually out at the lease for people to use. So the 12-inch high banker, but what I mostly use is a 8-inch recirculating sluice. So I find that sluice there is a perfect combination, and you can pull that header box off and put a river flare on it. But that with a 3,000 gallon an hour pump recirculating in tubs is just sensational. Two blokes can virtually shovel into it as quick as you like, unclassified. Yeah, so I really like that 8-inch, and that stays in my truck, that one there. So that's always in my truck, so I can pull it out and away we go. So, right. Gloves. I use these leather palmed gloves. I don't wear them a lot. Those leather palm gloves, or even some of the the heavy leather gloves. Glove wise, I don't tend to wear a lot of that sort of stuff. Do you use a linear sliver or classifier in any other way? So with this unit here, I can put the forward classifying tray in. I've got a forward classifying tray in it, and it's basically, I've got a picture of it. It's basically a bit of perforated plate, like that's in the top of that high banker, that holds the material back. And I use that a lot for holding back clay, so I can break up the clay before it goes through the machine, a bit before I go through the sluice. But that size mat, you don't need to classify your material down. You can actually just shovel straight into it. So you don't necessarily need to classify that material. I tend not to like classifying material, simply because it takes time and I find it pretty painful. So, yeah. So, yeah, that's, yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't like classifying. I like to process material sort of thing. So, yeah, I just process material. So, and I know that because I don't classify down, I am missing some portion of gold. But the volume I can put through, I reckon, outweighs me classifying everything down. So, yeah. So, yeah. A lot of people, as Kyle puts there, you classify over the top of the sluice. I've got mesh trays, I've got mesh sieves, I've got homemade mesh sieves that sit in the top, that I've made so they fit in the top of that header box sort of thing. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of classifying, so I'm a volume guy. Let's bash it through and see what we get. So yeah, so that's what I do. So right, so the dark side's in the house playing up a bit here, I think. Chris is here and Gem Q's here. How you going, guy? Trevor's here. Dark side never get banned. So before we get into this other bucket, I've got a couple of interesting things in this other bucket. So Cleggy's been doing some live streams and having heaps and heaps of stuff with the World Metal Detecting Competition. He's sold a lot of tickets, and there's a lot left, but this thing is just going to be absolutely mental. So get onto Cleggy's live streams. He reckons he's going to do another podcast soon too. Yeah, so that would be get on to Cleggy, and if you think you're going to go, there is a limited number of tickets, so I've heard, and so if you think you want to go, don't miss out on a ticket because I think they will sell out. So fantastic, guys. Andrew asked a question. Do I use a magnet? I've got a magnet in my dinghy. It's one of those big dirt magnet fishing magnets. It's supposed to lift 220 kilos or something or other. I haven't found much with it, but yeah, the only other magnet I have is that one on the end of my pick. I always put them on the end of my pick. We do these magnets, and these are very, very good quality magnets. So another little tip is too, I araldite these and then drive a screw in it. That screw that I've just put a screw in the end of them. That screw is about that long. So I pre-drill that, araldite it all in. You never ever lose one. So yeah. So they're the magnets I do. So oh yes, Scott Cooper, you're a star. So over the weekend, we put it all up on the Gold Diggers Facebook page. But the rat detecting relic and treasure has done an Australia-wide treasure hunt. Some coins have been found. Some coins haven't been. They are still out there. So yeah. So get on to Relic and Treasure. It's rat detecting, Relic and Treasure. It is going really, really well. First prize is a metal detector, and then there's pinpointers and all sorts of stuff going on. So, there's still stuff to be found. There's Relic and Treasure Hunters Australia right there. So get onto that Facebook page. It's all run through Facebook, that one. So it's very, very exciting. Hopefully he does a few more of these things, but get onto that Facebook page because that's a cracking event. So someone asked about breaking clay. Breaking clay sucks. This is a Bunnings paint stirrer. I both use it for stirring paint and breaking clay. You put that in a 20-litre bucket with clay and water and the drill. Put it on the end of the drill and whiz it up, and you will break clay down really, really simply. If you still struggle, I've seen some guys wrap these in barbed wire, so you actually get more cutting power. So yeah, paint stirrer from Bunnings is actually a pretty good solution for breaking clay. So, but clay is the enemy. So I dislike clay, except for the fact it holds gold. So that's what I use to break clay. On the end of the drill, whiz, 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 away you go. So there's a little tip for you. Right. Yeah, like Donnie mentions it, the right way to work with clay is to dry it out, crush it, then work with it. But, geez, I don't know. That takes a lot of work. So, yeah. So, yeah. Okay. Okay, so, headphones, we don't need to talk about my little things here. I do use I don't know where it is actually. I do use a long handle Sito sand scoop on the beach. Sito are the best scoops on the planet. I don't care who you talk to, they are fantastic. We sell them here. We're a big supporter. We're probably the cheapest in the country, or we like to think we're the cheapest in the country. We try to manage that. This is the belt I use, double D leather for my pick, and most of my fines bags go on it, and it holds the pick at precisely the right angle. So the last thing you want to do is fall over and have that sharp bit go through your belly. So yeah, but that's the pick holder I use. So I put those other bags, the other fines bags, on this belt, depending on what I'm doing. So, right. Here's another pinpointer. That looks like a new one. Huh, didn't know I had that one. So, see, this is good for doing this job. I've actually got too many pinpointers, and I've got too many pairs of gloves. I lost those gloves now. Found them again. So, yeah. So, the last two little bits is, the last two little bits I want to show you is I always have a loop with me. I normally have a loop with me. This is sort of my, if you like, long range thing. If I'm going a fair distance from the car, like some of these times I can walk, in some of these state forests I go into, in some of these areas I can be 6 or 7 hours from the car. So this is a little pouch that I've made just to, Leatherman, firelighter, just in case I've got to spend the night. You know, there's a few bits and pieces in here. There's compasses, there's emergency blankets, first aid kit, signal mirrors, all that sort of stuff. These are silly little things, but you know, levelers and signal mirrors and all sorts of bits and pieces, magnifying glass, and I think there's a torch in it which doesn't work anymore. There's all sorts of bits and pieces, but this is a little bit of a kit I put together. See, look, that's important. Spare lighter. This is a torch that I should refresh the batteries on. Emergency blanket here. Yeah, so there's a few bits and pieces in here that if I'm going a distance, I will, I'll pick this up and take that with me. And then this one here is really one that stays in the ute, and it's a bit more serious. Solar wind-up torch, you know, some rope, some wire, my compass, which normally I normally take that with me, just a sighting compass. I normally have that with me. Knife sharpeners and all sorts of stuff here, matches and yeah, all sorts of gear in that. but that really stays in the ute. That needs to go somewhere else. But that really stays in the ute. So that's sort of a bit of a, well, it's an emergency kit, and I reckon I could survive pretty well. I've actually thought about this and talked to a lot of the survival guys about that, but yeah, so I've put that together with their advice. This is probably the most important bit of gear to get you out of trouble in the bush. A good compass. Yeah, so yeah, a good compass is, if you can walk a straight line in the bush, you are a long way in front of a lot of people. So yeah, so right. Okay. Cool. So snakebite kits. I always have snakebite bandages on me. I didn't pull them all out, but I always have snakebite bandages on me. I only use the ones that have got the printed squares on that I rave on about on the show, so that you get the pressure correct, and you need to practice at home with snakebite bandages. You can put them on by yourself. So if you can't put them on by yourself, you really need to have do some practice with that. So insect repellent, I got Bushman in the car, but I also use that Nature's Botanical stuff to keep the flies off me. Yeah, so Bushman's and Nature's Botanical. So yeah. Right. So time-wise, we've got time for a few questions here. Then we've got to work out the winners of our competition. Yeah. So yeah. So any questions? Right. And the best safety you can have going into the bush is a mate. So leeches, I just yank them off. I don't like those buggers much. I don't have much time for them. Yeah, I just yank them off. And really, very, 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 very. I'm a bit the same with ticks as well. If you get them early enough, yeah. The other thing I forgot to mention there that I've got in the ute, in the glove box here, is a personal locator beacon. Yeah. So yeah. Yeah. Leeches, anything that sucks blood, I'm not a fan of. So leeches, yeah. Yeah. Nature's Botanical is the best thing for flies. Brendan talks AT Max for gold, all metal mode. I would try to run it in all metal mode. It will probably run too hot. Yeah. So yeah. So you probably need to drop it back. But so startup gear for a beginner, Joe asks. Detector and something to dig with. That's all you need. If you're into gold, the best startup thing is a gold pen. So, yeah, if you're looking for gold, go and buy a gold pen. That's the, yeah. Right. Methodetyl baby oil bug spray. Really, Kyle? Okay. So, portable UHF from Relic and Treasure. Yes, you can even get them with a GPS locator in them. Terry asks, am I doing a sluice and trommel rebuild video? I don't know whether I will or not. It's a bit sort of big scale for it's a bit big scale for here, but maybe I'll do a bit of a video on that over on the Golden Spur Mining page. But yeah, so someone just said something around Ricky, 9-volt battery is great for getting leeches off. Really? That's fantastic. I'm going to try that. Someone asked what snake gaiters I prefer. Snake Protects. So yes, Vaseline for ticks. Yeah, 10 centimeters long. The leeches, Stephen. Where are you, Stephen, at the moment? Bloody hell, that's not nice. Trevor, Cleggy is not helping rebuild the trommel. I'm going to leave that to Dustin. Someone did mention I bought it. Gotta have a good hat. So I like these hard straw hats. They're much cooler than a Kubra's. And you can actually sort of wipe them off. That one's pretty dirty at the moment, but you can actually wipe them off, and yeah, they're all good. So, right, yeah, try that with a 9-volt battery, Steve. Take a video. I want to see that. I hate those little buggers. So, yes. G'day, Kylie and Andrew and Steve. Kylie likes my hat. I love my hat. So, yes. Oh, would they go pop with a 9-volt battery? Okay, I'm getting too far into this leeches thing. So, right. Okay. Dale asked there, do I carry a backpack, like a hydration pack, like a Camelback or something like that? I tend not to. I've got one, but I tend to just chuck a water bottle in my fines bag, okay, particularly if I'm not going too far from the car. I find that hydration pack a bit hot. Maybe I haven't got a decent one. So I find it a bit hot. So I don't really do that. I don't like wearing it, so I don't wear it. But if I go long term, if I'm going a long way away from the car, I definitely wear it. And I've got a lot of stuff like that. That if I'm going long term, I'll go a bit more full on sort of thing. So the disposal stores are good for that sort of stuff. The disposal stores are good to get your bits and pieces, water bottles, and all that sort of stuff. So even some of the old military pants are good from the disposal stores, sort of thing. So right. So what have we done tonight? What's the date tonight? So next week, right? Next week, I don't know what we're doing next week. So, but I'll tell you what we're doing the week after. We're doing a gold pour with Johnny Hobo. So that will be Hobo's Gold. He's got a great YouTube channel. So yeah. So let's run this random generator here, and we'll give away these two prizes. It's getting late in the evening. I've run over time again. So nothing new there. Right, so we'll run this here. So 2 prizes tonight. One goes to a James Solway. Congratulations, James. You can send me a message. You can ring me, send me a text message on the mobile number. It's on the website. And then the Tony Coyle. Tony, congratulations. You've won the other pan and nugget scoop kit. So congratulations, guys. Both of you, if you can contact me After the show, I'll get that out to you straight away. Well done, guys. So next week we'll have something very exciting. I have no idea what. I'm a bit confused by what's going on here at the moment. And we might do. We're about due to look at. At pinpointers. So I don't know whether I'm prepared for that, but I might have to push it back a little bit. So we might have to do something else. So, righto, guys. Thank you very, very much for your time and spending it here with me. We will see you all next week. Make sure people contact me after these. Get onto Cleggy's Monday night, his live streams. He will be fantastic for that. To find out about the worldwide treasure, the world championships, right? And just before anyone goes, go the mighty Maroons on Wednesday night. So we'll see you later, guys. Have a great